Hello coders, good afternoon. Today we're going to be doing something really different, something I've never really done on the stream before. That is, uh, what we're going to do is do some social media stuff. I would like to slowly start ramping up the things that I do on, say, Instagram and Twitter around How to Code Well. For some reason, Twitter has got quite a decent following, and I would like to gain some more followers in Instagram, and I've been thinking of ways to do it, like a social media strategy, if you will. There's two things that are on my agenda for today. We might not be able to get to all of them, but we'll see. First one is something that I'm calling dev tips, bite-sized dev tips, and the second one is something that I'm calling the Sunday coding quiz, right? So I'll just talk about what the bite-sized dev tips are first. I'll tack that one first. The first thing there is creating an Instagram post at least once a week, where I have 6 images that I do on this post, and each of these images, well, the first one is going to be a title image, and then the next 4 will be sort of like sort of a cheat sheet stroke flashcard type thing, where it's teaching a specific thing about a programming language or something to do with web dev. And then the last card will be the card which has the information about following to other platforms. And this allows me to push the 4 tutorial cards, I guess, to Twitter. So that's going to be my approach for those. And then we've got the Sunday coding quiz, which is going to be a poll that I'm hoping to do every Sunday, which has a coding question. And I can do that on, say, Twitter and also on Instagram as well. So what I want to try and do is use some of these streams to plan those things ahead. Those take a lot of time to think about, and also to actually produce, to do. So I want to use these streams kind of like that, as a means of planning those ahead. So if I go into the window here, what we can see is we've got things like Confluence, where I've got the bite-sized dev tips Confluence page up here. We also have, which is obviously blank, we have a tool called Canva that I've used for the HTML inputs part 1. That's the bite-sized dev tip that I've created yesterday. I created that yesterday. And then we have GitHub here with Carbon that I'll talk about in a minute. So I think what will probably be best is to plan for next week's dev tip, bite-sized dev tip, because that's probably the better way of doing it, rather than to do the coding quiz first, and then, because there's more involved here. So what I've done, just as an example here, is that we have, and I'm just trying out Canva at the minute. I'm just playing with it, just seeing what I can and can't do. So we've got some of these graphics here. So we've got some code. We've got the stuff for the last frame. We've got, say, an example. So this HTML form inputs, if I go into it, we can see that it talks about HTML form inputs, right? So if I load those up, there we go. So if I scroll down, we got text boxes. So it's going to follow this kind of sort of pattern where we have what it is, the card number. We've got at least 3 sort of facts about a text box, and then we have the example of how to write the text box, and then we've got the actual the output there, I suppose. So then that's text boxes. We've got one for password, we've got one for radio, we've got checkbox, and then we've got learn more web development skills with the at How to Code Well, and then the address to the .NET site. So the idea is to basically build up some form of sort of just sort of build up the social media presence, I suppose. And I'm playing around with Canva for that. So if I skip the tour, I don't need that. So what we're going to try and do is work on the second version of this. So if I was to go back here, and if I can go back to home, there we go. And so go back to projects. There we are. Right. And the reason why I've got the Confluence page up and running is because I wouldn't mind sort of documenting my process as I go through. Sort of there's certain rules that I want to do and keep. So document that because then I can use this as to refer back to. And the reason why I've got Carbon in here, I need to do carbonnow.sh, is because this is the tool I'm going to be using. If I can find it. Oh dear. It's probably easier actually if I was to load up carbon.now.sh. This is the tool that I want to use to actually generate the code. And this is open source, so you can click on the source. This is what I was trying to get to, the actual source, because what I want to do is clone it. So if we go over to, do I have the code? Do I have? Yeah, well, here we go. We've got a code window. So I built the first one on my laptop yesterday. So I just want the tools here. So let's load this up. So let's do a git clone of you. So that brings in Carbon, and then we'll install it. I will put these down as tools is in here. So if we did a section, let's do heading 2. Well, yeah, let's do of tools. So we have Carbon, we have Canva. So I'm just pretty much documenting the things that I use in this process. So yeah, let's link to that, and then Canva. Let's link to that as well, which is in here. And has that downloaded? Let's see. Yes, it has. Cool. So if we go into Carbon, so this is a client-sided app, and if I did an ls of this, it's in Yarn. So let's do Yarn. Yarn install. Whoops. Yarn install. Install all the things. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, so we'll probably end up doing some more of this sort of as the weeks go on, as the weeks progress, and I wouldn't mind sort of building up a sort of a backlog of these things, and then maybe even using say Jira to actually record the ones that I've already put out. And my goal is to try and be as efficient as possible with all of this stuff. So for example, I've already said the fact that I can do a bite-size dev tip and share that amongst Twitter and share that amongst Instagram. But there's also the ability of using the code that I'm actually using as perhaps maybe YouTube Shorts, TikTok Shorts in the future. So what I wouldn't mind doing is, as I go through this process, is actually having a GitHub repository that has all of this stuff, if you will, in it. But I'm going to have to wait until I come off stream, because I've got to sync up the one I did yesterday. So we won't worry about that too much at the minute. So we'll just do this locally. So we'll just bring this in. And whilst that's installing, I suppose what I can do is start generating this, right? I don't know why there's two windows. So the first one is form inputs part 1. So obviously the second one, if I make a copy, will be form inputs part 2, right? So that's a copy of. So can I edit that? So that's now, is that design? Oh, right, that's recents. Okay, fine. So let's change that to 2, and let's now, like yesterday was the first time I've used Canva, so bear with me whilst I try and play around with it. here we go. So there we go. Form inputs part 2. I wish I could get rid of all of these things. So let's change that to be 2 rather than 1. Oh, I need to unlock these things. Where's the... There we go. Unlock the U. Part 2. And right. So what we need to do is start filling out all these things. We'll keep that as is. So we essentially have four things that we want to deal with today. Let's think. Let's have a think. So we've done text boxes, we've done password, we've done radio, and we've done checkbox. So that leaves things like email. That leaves so telephone. So let's start putting some placeholders in. I'm going to have to unlock all these things, aren't I? Yeah. Have I locked this one? Yes, I have. So let's unlock you. So let's change that to be... actually, hang on. Is this all uppercase? It needs to be consistent. Yes, it is. All right. So this is uppercase telephone. And then, so let's get the heading sorted. Let's add that. So this is telephone. Input type. Lock that. Scroll down. Next one. And we'll try and do this and this one will be like email. We'll try and do this as efficiently as possible. So this one is email. Again, all uppercase, email. Email input type. And lock that. Scroll down. Next one. What can we do? What's the next thing we could do? I suppose we could do, say, select. I guess. Yeah. Let me have a think. I had a note somewhere where I noted all these things down in a particular order. So give me a sec whilst I bring that up. We've done text, we've done password, we've done radio, we've done checkbox, we've done oh, of course, there's button, there's file, there's hidden, there's number, there's range. Right, okay, fine. And we've done tell, we got submit to do, we got select, that's an interesting one. We got URL. So I tell you what, let's keep these nice and short today, because I guess the bigger one would be select. So we've got telephone, we've got email, we've got radio. Oh no, I need to sort that out. So with radio, let's do something like, going back to my list. Yeah, let's do button. Again, all in uppercase. And then let's lock that out. And the last one, I tell you what, the last one we'll do select on the last one. Get that out of the way. That's a biggie one. There's not a lot of space here to use. So there's also multi-select as well, but let's do, actually, it would probably be best if I did multi-select and select on the same thing. So perhaps we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should do, have I got button? I put that in. So let's do submit. Be good to keep them submit. Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's the way we're going to do. So let's change that to be submit input. Now, I was asked the other day on stream if it was allowed to ask questions. Of course it is. So if anybody's watching this and they've got any questions at all on anything, it doesn't have to be this, then do let me know. I'm more than happy to chat and talk whilst I go through this. So input, submit input type. That's what we're going to call it. And this one is the button input type. That's what we're going to call that. And I think I've done the email. Okay, fine. So what we need to do now is start building these things. So let's bring out Canva. where are we with this? That's working fine. So let's do yarn, and I believe it is build that I need to do. I need to build it, and then I need to start it. So even this takes a wee bit of time, I believe. So what we can do is go back to this. Now I need to find examples of these things. Obviously, let me just bring out Finder for a second. There we go. So we got recents. Okay, so how am I going to do that then? Let's think about that. How am I going to do that? So what I was doing beforehand was I was using, I suppose we could use, yeah. So W3C Schools has a really good sort of HTML editor. So let's just bring that back to, like an example HTML tutorial. So let's just pick one, customize. Let's just get rid of all of this stuff, save preferences. So let's pick, write some code. Like HTML lists, for instance. There we go. Try it for yourself. Right, so here, what I can do is just scrub all this stuff and then create my own, and then use that as something I can copy and paste. So, for example, what we have here, let's get rid of that for a minute. Is this all running on stream? Let me just see. Yeah, it is good. So in this one, we have telephone. So let's start with telephone first. So let's do make a bit of room. Input type is equal to tel. And let's do that. Let's do run. Good. So it's just this. Let's have a little play with let me think. W3C HTML telephone. So that's W3C Schools. Let's click on that. So there we go. Input tel, you got the ID there. So you got the label for, and then you have a pattern. Now that's interesting. Can I fit all of this on the screen? And there's a placeholder, right? Yeah. So that's the pattern. So what we could do for this, it might have to be a double row. In fact, what we can do is just use this. So we're not going to put in a label, so we don't need to worry about the ID. And we're going to get rid of all of this stuff as well. We're going to get rid of required, because that's going to be another thing that we're going to add. So let's put that in there. Let's move the pattern down there. Let's get rid of the placeholder as well. And what's this? 0. So let's change that to be just 11 numbers. Oops, not 111. And get rid of all of this stuff. Okay. And let's move the name down there. Actually, let's just move all of this stuff down. And let's move that back a bit. There we go. So that's going to be our input type. And if we hit run and get rid of this. Right, so we should have like 8. Oh, I need a submit button. Input type equals, whoopsie. Come on. Right, let's run that. Right, your input was received as phone equals this. The server has processed your input. Okay, let's get rid of that. Change that to be form. Run. Submit. The file you asked does not. Okay, right. I'm seeing some interesting things with W3C Schools. But essentially, what I want here is some. Let's do regex tester. Let's have a little look. I just want to double check that that is correct. I think it is, but I just need to be like properly 100%. So the regular expression is U, and we're going to have 1, and we're going to not see any matches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There we go. So we got the match. So that could be a telephone number, for instance, without the +44. I'm not going to worry too much about all of that jazz. But there we go. Right. Okay. So that is the input. Let's hit run. That is the submit. Let's get rid of that because I'm not teaching submit. Let's get rid of the form. Let's just hit that. So there we go. Let's just copy this. I mean, I know it's daft. It is just, and let's put, that's it. I know it's daft because it is just literally a text box. In fact, thinking about that, I could be proper cheeky and say, well, actually, we already have a text box. Yeah, let's just use that. It's just a text box. Okay, so then let's deal with this. Let's get back to Canva. Sorry about that. I was going a bit around the houses there. So Canva, Carbon. That's what I'm after. Carbon. There we go. So that's being built. So then we can do a yarn start. I might just be able to do a yarn start without the build, but whatever. So now it should be running off of this local host. Good stuff. Oh, no. Let's just get rid of that. Don't need. Sorry, give me a sec. Yeah. So let's copy you and go back to Chrome and open up a new tab, put that in. And we should have Carbon working locally. Yay, we do. All right, so these settings are things that I really need to put down in Confluence. So from memory, this was Dracula, and this was HTML, and in settings, which is there, we had the editor. No, we had the window, which didn't have any Windows controls. There we go. Right, so let's get rid of all of this stuff and instead put that stuff in. Boom, boom. Can I get rid of it? There we go. Okay, so it looks like that, right? So we have type, name, and pattern. Okay, so instead of just taking a, oh yeah, there's another thing on this needs to be transparent. Now, how do you do that? Oh yeah, alpha. Take the alpha down to 0. Boom. Right. So before I go any further, let's just document all of this. So what is this called? This is the, I guess this, you would call this as, I don't know, like code style, right? Code style. So let's do Carbon. In fact, that's what's that, H2? So let's do H3 and call this Carbon. Let's do let's change that to be edit link. Get Carbon. And let's change, add some roles. So we do something like, let's do theme is equal to Dracula. Dracula. What else did we say we were going to do on Carbon? That's going to be specific to the programming language. That needs to be transparent. So let's do, I've lost the tabs. Background equals transparent. What else did we have on here? Oh yes, remove windows. What was it called? Just window controls. So back in here, remove window controls. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Sorry. I think that was it. Oh, I believe I need to yes, put all of this in bold. Oh dear, what have I done? No. Don't do that. Put in a space. There we go. Okay, and then so this would be oh yeah, remove drop shadow as well. That's another thing I remember from yesterday. So remove drop shadow. What else? I think that's it. I think. Yeah, we've removed the drop. Oh, bold. Now, how do you do that? How do you bold everything? What did I just do? I clicked on something, didn't I? And it went bold. Yeah. Okay. So select all and then bold. Okay. Bold font. Okay, that's cool. I think that's good for now. Let's do change. What's that? What's that? H3. Let's do H4. Cool. Let's move that up into there. Cool. All right. Good stuff. Let's now let's create that. So let's do an export and change that file name to be HTML_input_telephone, right? And then download the PNG. So again, I need to put this then in as PNG. So where is this? Download images as PNG. Okay, so now we have that show and finder. What we can do is copy that over to our Canva project. So let's take that out. Bye. Pew. Oh, no, I need to unlock it. Pew. Right, and then drag that in. There we go. And let's make that a little bit... Oh, hang on. That's not what I want. I don't want it highlighted. Okay, let's unhighlight that. There we go. Right, let's do that again. To export, what did I call it? HTML input telephone PNG. Right. Let's get rid of the original and let's just rename that. Take that suffix out. There we go. Right, let's go back to Canva and drag this in. Right, that's better. So let's adjust the size of all of this. Bring that up. It's gonna be like different for different you know, it's gonna be different sizing for things, unfortunately. And then drag that down, drag that around. Okay, that needs to be in the middle and it needs to be above here. So I'm a little bit stuck for space, unfortunately. Let's make that a little bit smaller. Move that in the middle. Come on, snap to the middle. There we go. Snap to the middle. Go up. There we go. Right, and then on here, we need to change, obviously, this. So it's a telephone input control. Get rid of that. Oh, I've just noticed my pattern's wrong. I've just noticed the pattern is wrong. That needs to have a... There we go. Let's do that again. This is what happens. HTML, telephone, input. There we go. Copy that. Sorry, and that needs to be renamed to HTML. Input telephone. We'll get there in the end. Go back to Carbon. Get rid of you. Paste that in. And then do my... That's probably looking all right, isn't it? In terms of... Yeah. Right. So then this telephone, that needs to be a space in there. Telephone input control. Yeah, let's just drag that out of there and get back to our lovely Canva. So I want to say something about accessibility and the fact that it's used for mobile. So, and also the pattern as well. So let's do use pattern to control, use pattern to control input, use regex pattern to control input, and then here, so telephone input, so should really do something up here, and then change that to be defaults to text input if browser. These can't be wordy. If browser, if browser, browser doesn't support. Yeah, see, it can't be on 2 lines. Defaults to text input. Let's do text input fallback. Let's go back to here. So text input fallback, browser fallback. There we go. And then this one we can change to be something like sort of like useful for mobile telephone entry, or useful for telephone entry on mobile. Can I fit that in? Yes. Okay, that's good. Happy with that. Happy with that. I think that's the first one done. Scroll down. Email. Again, it's going to be the same as this one. So we can get rid of you, and we can I need to lock that one, right? And then I need to unlock this one. I know you can have everything, you can have as many things unlocked as possible, but let's do, oh, there is one underneath. Okay, fair enough. We'll leave that as is. Okay, so email. Let's go back to Carbon, and change the type to email. Well, yeah. Yeah. Let's just have a little look. It's going to be very samey, I think. That's the problem with these kind of things at the minute. They're very, very samey. So, yeah. It is going to be email address, and we don't have a pattern. Pew. So, technically, this all could all go on one line. And I've already I've remembered that... of course, I was going to put all this in GitHub, but I haven't done. But to be honest, they're only like 1 lines of code, right? It's not huge. So that looks fine. Let's get rid of some of that space. So that looks okay. Can we bring this in a little bit? There we go. All right. So let's export that with the file name of HTML. I think I was doing it as input email as a PNG. And then we go back to Canva. That link there. Let's take that away. And then open this up in Show and Finder. That was correct. Input email. Yep. Paste that in. Make this a bit bigger. Let's see if we can get this to look. Yeah, that looks fine. Let's put that sort of in the middle. There we go. And then change this to be email. So single line text input control, which is true. But oh no, I need to. Why is that not? So can allow for multiple emails to be added. Okay, next one is in fact, let's scroll. Let's put that in there. So then this one is automatically validates email addresses. Can allow for multiple emails. And then thirdly, I suppose we could say, you know, use with label for accessibility. That's kind of my fallback at the minute. Ability. If I can't think of the third one, but it is just that. Let's change that to be label, capital label element. All right, so that's the second one done. That's not bad. Telephone. I want to make that just a wee bit smaller because it is a bit. Let's lock that. I want to make that a wee bit smaller. So let's just because it's a bit tight. Let's bring that down a wee bit. There we go. It's just a bit tight. All right, let's lock that. Let's go down to the third one then. That's locked. Good. Third one is a button. Woo! So this is a bit more interesting. Okay. So. Again, we go into Carbon and we change that to be email type of button. We don't need a name, to be honest, on the button. It is just that. And then well, you would have a name if there was more than one button, right? But you know, let's just keep it like that. I think that's fine. again, let's export and let's hit save. So this is HTML input, HTML input button, and download that and go back to Canva. Canva. That's not Canva, is it? No, it's not Canva, Pete. No. Let's unlock this and put in a button. Go back to here, click on Show in Finder, drag the button. Woo! Make it a bit bigger. There we go. Right, and then let's get an example of this button. Get rid of you. Bear with me. Right, there we go. And we're going to do, in fact, let's make it look like the button that we're using. That's probably wise, right? So let's take that out and let's have update and let's close button. There we go. So we're going to make this wee bit bigger. There we go, all on one line. Let's get rid of all of this stuff. Get rid of that. There we go. That within N, finish that. Yeah, so that's looking more like the example that I want to use. So let's drag that in a wee bit. There we no. That's it. That's it. Well, no. Right. Stop. There we go. Right. Export. So HTML underscore input underscore button is the thing that we want to do. Good. Where's my Finder window? All right, I need to delete the old one, and I need to take out the suffix of 1. Good. Get back to Canva. Delete that. Drag that on. There we go. Now I've just noticed on Canva it's keeping the old ones, which is weird. So I will need to go. Yeah, I can see that there's. So I'll need to go through it and remove the images that we're not using. But anyway, I also want to just create a screenshot of the actual button. So bear with me whilst I sort that out. That's good. And then we need to get back to Finder, and then that would go into probably the desktop. Right, so this is HTML form button, and drag that onto there. Boom, and put that down to there. Let's make that a wee bit smaller. It's a bit in your face, isn't it? So there we go. Right. Okay. So, what can we say about a button? What can we say about a button? Okay, so it creates, I don't know, it's a clickable button. Clickable button. Buttons are clickable. Button inputs are clickable. Same as submit ones, but whatever. Clickable. Buttons can contain text and other elements and other HTML elements. Again, this is buttons can contain text. All right, fine. Okay, buttons can contain HTML elements. Elements. Right. Good. Okay, so we got 1, we got 2, we got 3. Bring on the submit. Bring on the submit. Because this one is a bit different to the button. It's probably a good idea, actually, that I'm doing button and the submit together. Because with a submit, of course, you can't add other HTML elements within it. I kind of need to prove that, right? I suppose I could. I mean, there's enough room, right? Let's do it. So we could, if we wanted to, we could do a B tag within the button if we wanted it to be bold. So let's do, and so if I was to tidy this up, I'm gonna have to do another screenshot, of course, but let's bring that out, bring that in. There we go. So it could be that if I wanted to. Yeah, sod it. So let's do a PNG. You can't have an input in it. Well, you could. I don't actually know what will happen if that might be an invalid HTML if you put another input within a button. I don't know. I've never tried that. Anyway, let's. I've never needed to. HTML input button. All right. So let's go back to. Oh, I need to sort this out, don't I? That needs to be smaller. That needs to be about there. There we go. HTML input. And this one is going to go out. This one is going to go out next week, probably next Saturday. So that's why I'm doing it today, to keep it in the wings, in the background. So with Canva, blah, 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 blah. There we go. Take that out. Get back into Finder. Drag that on. No, I'm in the wrong directory. It is in downloads. Oh yes, I need to get rid of the old ones. Yeah, let me get rid of those. Otherwise, I'm gonna have like just images in my downloads folder with like 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, there we go. Drag that on. That's better. That's looking better, isn't it? Make that a bit. That's cool. Let's make that a little smaller. Just make it a little bit tighter. Come on, snap to the middle, please. There we go. Right, which means that I need to change the tag in here. Oh, I've just realized my B tag is not closed. Good. I really should double check these things before I actually go ahead and click the buttons. Let's just copy that. Right. I'll let me sort this out first. And whilst I'm here, we'll get rid of it. Can I get rid of you? Move to trash. There we go. I should really be doing this as I go, to be honest. So get back into desktop. Change this to be HTML form. Oh, I need to delete the old one. Silly. HTML form button. Drag that on. Just put it down there. Close this up. Right. And then we're going to make this, we're going to close that off, aren't we? So we go back to wherever it lives, carbon, and we're going to close that off, as I should have done for like the third attempt. HTML input button. There we go. But you know, you got to get it right. You got to get it right, otherwise, you know, people be after you on the internet. You didn't close your bold tag. I'll probably get people to complain that I'm not using a strong tag, but whatever. I wouldn't say you would put a strong tag in this, to be fair, because a strong tag has a different sort of definition as a B tag. Yes, they do the same thing, as in they do the same. You know, they make the thing bold, but strong and bold are two very separate things from the context, from the perspective of the browser. So, for example, and maybe this is something that I should explain in one of these things down the road, that strong has a different meaning to bold from the semantical point of view of this. So I wouldn't necessarily use a strong tag in this. I would use a bold tag, a B tag, rather than a strong tag, personally. Anyway, that's by the by. Let's get into wherever I'm putting this thing in here. There we go. Right. It is get rid of you, drag that on, and then we'll get on to the last one. Woo! In fact, that gives me a great idea for the coding quiz stuff. You know, what is the difference between a bold and a strong tag? And you could have one, these are going to be multiple choice, so you could have one thing as, is that bold and that not bold? And that, have I screwed that up? Is that the same with this lot? They're all bold. You see the text is bold and bold, but not here. Is that me? There we go. That looks better, doesn't it? Right. Okay, for the fifth time, let's HTML input. What was I calling it? Button. Yes. So, you know, you got to check your own work. You got to check your own work. Right. So let's take that off. And go back to Canva and get rid of you. And I'm also going to get rid of that one. So we'll move that to trash. And this one, we're going to move that one as well to trash. And this one, we're going to move that one to trash as well. And this one, we're going to move that one to trash too. I should probably not touch those for a minute. Right. Oh, for some reason, it's kind of put them all on here, but whatever. I don't know why I've been able to move them to trash, but then being able to put them on the canvas. But anyway, let's see if we can get this done. Otherwise, we'll never get this done. We'll never be able to move on to the submit. That's looking better. That's looking much better. Get it in the middle. That's looking better. Bring it down a wee bit. Right. Okay. Can we now get on to submit? So we've done telephone, we've done email, we've done button, and now we get to move on to the mighty submit. The mighty submit, which is fun. So, what we do with the submit button. The Mighty submit. All right. What shall we do first? Get rid of you. Let's unlock this. Oh, I suppose what's happened is because I've copied it over, it would have the assets of the last time. I need to be careful because there is a limit on storage, I think, that I need to be careful about. Why am I unlocking and locking that? That needs to be locked. Okay, so with the submit button then, we can use the value of the submit. So we could do input type submit, and if there is no value at all whatsoever, then it defaults to the text submit. However, if we wanted to create a value and we put that in as, I don't know, save, for instance, then that turns into that. I think that's probably a good example. So yeah, let's just copy that. I'm gonna do this backwards, I think. Go back to Finder, get into wherever that's saved. All right, change that to be HTML form submit. Drag that on to the thingy-majiggy. Make that a wee bit smaller. There we are. Right. So, we should probably do one up there, and then this one is value defaults to submit unless supplied. Right, so here we're applying save. Runs the we could do submits form to action attribute. Value defaults to submit unless applied. And then submits all form data to a form handler. Okay, right. So let's go ahead and actually build this thing. So what I'm after is something a little like this. Now I've been very careful with not using like on clicks and stuff. I think what I would like to do is have a an actual bite-sized thing specifically on click events, because there's all sorts of things that you need to teach, like for example returning false and all of that stuff to prevent submission. Anyway, let's do this. So HTML underscore input underscore submit, and then hit the PNG. Bear with me a minute, people. I have a tweet. Oh, isn't it funny when people like your tweets from several weeks ago or days ago even, it comes up as a notification and you forgot that you actually typed that thing out and put it out to the world. Yeah. Sorry. Right, I'm back in the room. So did I export that? Yes, I did. Cool. Let's get back to Projects Canva, get into my wherever it lives finder thingy, go into downloads, HTML form submit. There we go. Get rid of the U because that's not what I need, and paste that in. Blimey, is this going to be the easiest one we've done so far? Ah, that's cool. There we go. Right, I think that kind of solves it. Let's go through them, do a little bit of sense checking. So, form inputs part 2. So the first one is telephone, right? Useful for telephone entry on mobile. Let's change that to be mobile devices. I believe I can fit that in there without it being... There we go. Text input browser fallback. I'm going to say... I'm going to change that because that doesn't really make much sense, to be honest. So, sorry. So browser falls back. Browsers fall back to text input, and then use regex pattern to control to validate user input, data input. To validate value, submitted value. All right, let's get rid of that. There we go, just on the cusp. I think I'm going to have to bring this into the middle. There we go. Right. Okay. So, email automatically validates email addresses. Can allow for multiple emails. Okay. Use with label element for accessibility. I mean, that's the same with all of them, but okay. Scroll down. So we've got a button here. So button inputs are clickable. Buttons can contain text. Buttons can contain HTML elements. Oh, and I tell you what I've forgotten to do. I've forgotten to do the submit one, right? Good job we're double checking all of this stuff. Let's just make sure that that's in the middle too. I mean, a lot of this is going to be in I, but yeah. So, submit. Oh, no, we did write the submit one. Beg your pardon. We did. Let's make that in the middle. Submits form to action attribute. Submits form inputs. Submit form values to action attribute. Value defaults to submit unless applied. Yeah. Okay. Can we do value attribute? Because it's like you're talking about the value that you've just submitted, and then you're talking about the value default. So let's do attribute. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit all this in. Value attribute defaults to submit. Get rid of that. Right. Submits all form data to a form handler. Submits form values to the form's action attribute. I might have to just swallow the fact that this needs to be on 2 lines. Submits, unless I get submits values, submits data to form's action attribute. Okay, value attribute defaults to submit and submits all form data to the form handler. All right. Okay. Learn more web development skills, and that's that. I think so. This is going to be end screen. Woo! And that's going to be title screen. I'm calling them screen, but they're actually cards. I think that's it. I think that's good. I think I'm pleased with that for the second one. I think that's good. That regex is better, and that's that, and that's. Hang on a minute. I'm seeing some differences. That is bold. Is the email bold? That doesn't look bold to me. Maybe it's because that's just bigger. It might be because that's bigger. Okay. And then that's bold. I think it's because that is just a bigger box. I mean, oh no, where's my mouse had a little bit of a funny five. Let's see if we can make that a bit smaller. Just so it matches up. There we go. That's maybe that isn't bold. But actually, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to be precious on that, although I did write the rules. Yeah, okay, let's deal with the email, because I think that's the only one. That's bold. That's not bold. That's bold. That's bold. So yeah, let's deal with the email. Where is the email? That one there. Yeah, so it's just a type of email, an email underscore address. So let's looking for you. That's what we need to do. So that's an input type of email, and the name is going to be email underscore address. Email underscore address. Good stuff. Make sure that that is in bold. Yep. Drag that out to there. Close that down. Close that off. Right. And then do a file name of HTML underscore input underscore email. And we probably need to delete the old one, which we do. And then save that one. And then go back to Canva. That one there. Let's delete that. Oh, I need to unlock it. Delete you. And then bring that one back in. Consistency is king. That's what I keep telling myself. Consistency. That's what I want to try and be more consistent with the old social media stuff. And I do know that it's a bit fuzzy. It looks a wee bit fuzzy. Whereas that's more kind of like... Don't know, it just looks a bit different, doesn't it? They are all the same. Sorry, I'm in the wrong place. Okay, I will save that as... I think it's automatically... Yeah, it's automatically saved. All right. Okay. Is that... Hang on, that doesn't look like that's in the middle, does it? No. Bring that in the middle. There we go. That's in the middle. Okay, I think that is good. I think if I did any more to it, I would spoil it. So let's just leave that as is. Okay, good stuff. That's looking better now. It's popping it better. I think it just needed to be updated. Let's lock that before I do anything silly. Okay, so yeah, that's that. I think what I'll do maybe in I'll do some of these myself in the evenings, I believe. And I'll consider how to do the coding quiz stuff as well. I might leave that for next stream and actually think about how to do that. Essentially what I would like is some way of capturing all the quizzes that I've given and jotting down when I've done them. So it'll be like, I'm guessing it's going to be like a table format. So the first column would be things like, the quiz title. So the question. And then we would have 3 columns for potential answers. And then we would have another column for the column A, B, or C, 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, that is correct. So the correct one. And then you would have a column for date added. Because obviously then I can, for every time I submit the thing to social media, I can then go back to that and jot that down, which means that I won't be duplicating myself, for instance. Yeah, but this one, this form inputs part 2, I will wait for next week to do, and then maybe to publish, so next Saturday probably, and then because it's always good to have a build up of a supply of these, and then maybe in the coming days, in the evenings, I might even do one tomorrow, to be honest, to just build up a backlog of these things. So, you know, I never want to get to a point where it's a weekend and I'm like, oh no, I don't have anything. So it's always good to have these backed up. So whether we'll do this or not on the next few streams, I don't know. We probably will, but I don't really know whether we'll do the coding quizzes or whether we'll do this, or we might just go back to doing the How to Code Well site and stuff. But essentially, I just want to pick this up and push a little bit more on the social media stuff and be a little bit more consistent. Going back to that Confluence page, what we have here. So we've got Carbon. Let's finish this off. So we've got Canva, and that was what, H3. So let's put that as a H3. H3, and we'll change that to be get Canva, and we might also have, so that's tools, schedule. Actually, I'll do that underneath. Let's get rid of the U. Schedule. So that will be a H2. And we'll do once a week on Saturday, or every Saturday, once every Saturday, and publish to Twitter and Instagram. And I guess I could use this as a dumping ground for ideas, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, cool. I think I'm going to leave it there. Because I need to get some food. But thank you ever so much for watching. This will be probably on the archive channel as well. So How to Code Well. If you go to YouTube and then search for How to Code Well archive, it will be on the archive channel too. So yeah, take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend. It is the bank holiday Monday here in the UK. So if you are in the UK and you're having a chilling out for a bank holiday, enjoy it. And I will see you on the next stream. Take care, everyone. Cheers. Bye-bye.